Hi everybody, Monica here, jumping in for a quick live for you. Hey, I got my best friend here, the ball, because the ball is going to be telling us today. I am going to be telling you today, with the help of my ball, why stretching is actually harmful to you and why you should not be doing it. Okay? I'm really, really convinced that this will help you with everything once you get the whole concept. Okay? So you know that I do myofascial release. This is how I treat people every single day in my office, getting them out of chronic pain, getting them out of feeling exhausted, tired, not being able to sleep, disconnected from their bodies, and just struggling and suffering because they don't know how to talk and how to connect with their body, and they don't know what their body needs. So this is my role to help you out on that journey. So why stretching is a waste of time? It is a waste of time because most people, when you go stretch, how long? Well, I'm going to ask you, this is a live. If you want to post a comment, that'll be great. How long do you actually keep your stretch for? I would guess maybe 20 seconds, maybe a minute. Okay. Sometimes it's like they tell you, okay, let's hold this very long stretch. It's going to be a minute. You're doing your yoga, you're going to your Bikram yoga, whatnot, and you're holding that stretch for a whole minute. And you're struggling and suffering because it starts to hurt. Your joints are starting to hurt. And you feel like, yes, I'm going for it. I'm stretching my body. I'm getting to that. I'm going to feel better. Maybe it even feels good because you're stretching that tight quad or that tight hamstring or your arm or something. And you're pushing on it, pulling on it. Okay, so how does that serve you? How do you feel the next day? Do you feel actually stretched out and soft and relaxed? Or do you feel like you actually have to go back and do that again and again and again and again because it only lasted for maybe that period of time when you were stretching? That felt good, right? That quad stretch, it felt good. So this is the truth. It doesn't last. It actually can injure you because as human beings, I feel in our culture at least, we have a tendency to just overdo things. So we go for it and we try it really hard because we feel or we think, we've been taught that the deeper the stretch, the more forceful the stretch, the more it will actually give us a release or relief. So what you're doing, you're not really stretching anything. What you're doing, you're pulling on your joints, you're overstretching your ligaments, and you're overstretching your, all too often, you're overstretching your tendons. These are those pieces of your soft tissue that are connecting the muscle to the bone, to the joint. And you're just pulling it and stretching it. Oh, now you're like, I can bend my knee further. And that's a win. I'm going to tell you it's not a win. It actually can hurt you because you want to keep stability in your joints. You want your joints to actually support you and make sure that, say, for example, if you're lifting weights or if you're running or if you're doing any sort of physical activity that involves weight bearing, you want your joints to be strong and supportive. You don't want them to be loose, okay? If you notice like your legs are maybe hyperextending where you have that bend backwards, or like myself, because I used to stretch a lot. Look at me. See, my elbow hyperextends. This is actually very unhealthy. So I have to be very careful to never do this. I always keep my elbows and my knees, slightly bent. And this is a liability. I got that because I was stretching a lot when I was younger. I was a martial artist. I did gymnastics. I did all sorts of crazy things. And I always thought it was great that I was so stretchy. Well, now I paid for it a lot because I developed a lot of pain because of my joints being pretty unstable. So what I want you to do is follow here on this page or on the group and see that I've been posting a lot of videos on how to use the ball and also how to stretch yourself properly with the principles of myofascial release, okay? And when people come to me the first time and I tell them what to do, they look at me like I'm an alien and they like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. And all I'm asking, there's two principles to myofascial release stretching, that stretching, right, which is not your regular stretching. There are two principles. One is that we never force anything. Number two is that we always stay with the stretch or release when we're using the ball. We stay with it for at least 5 minutes or longer. And there's actual research behind it. So let me explain you really briefly, because I don't want to be talking for too long today and bore you. But the fascial system, the connective system in the body, is really what we want to keep pliable and soft and mobile. It's not the joints and it's not the tendons. So we cannot achieve it by just trying to stretch. For example, when I'm stretching my arm, look at what happens. I'm overstretching my elbow. I'm really not getting here. I'm not getting to any soft tissue like this. I'm actually overstretching my elbow. So with myofascial release stretching, we avoid that at all costs. We don't want to injure ourselves and hurt ourselves, okay? It's a very important principle. So what we do to actually get to the real soft tissue that we want to stretch, which I don't have any biceps, but see, maybe you do. So this is, you know, this, for example, I have very tight, somebody would have very tight biceps, okay? And they want to stretch it. So just by doing that, they're stretching only the tendon and the joint. It's not going to the muscle. That's the problem, okay? So that's why we have this incredible tool that's called the ball, the miracle tool. And we, instead of stretching, instead of pulling, we actually apply pressure into the tight area. So you can, for example, lean against the wall, put that pressure into the muscle if it feels tight. Maybe you lift a lot of weights and you get that tight kind of scrunchy tissue there, and it starts to be really uncomfortable. So you can lay down on the floor and just put that pressure on it, or lean against the wall, like I said. And so you want to just put that pressure. You don't want to force it. You don't want to roll it and massage it. You want to put that sustained pressure, and you want to wait for at least 5 minutes. All right. And now to the research really briefly. So I've been taught this by my mentors and teachers, that that's how we do, how we release tissues. And several years ago, actual scientific research starting to emerge, telling us how this actually was true. Our fascia, our connective tissue, all those areas that actually get tight and restricted, are a specific form of tissue, of substance. And it's kind of like Jell-O, right? When you leave the Jell-O out for a week and don't keep it in the fridge and open it up, it's going to dry out completely. If you take a sponge, fill it up with water, then you put it in the sun for 5 days, it's going to become totally brittle and hard, right? So our tissue, imagine that we are filled with this spongy kind of tissue. If it doesn't have water, if it doesn't have that pliability to it, it becomes brittle and tight. It compresses our muscles, compresses our nerves and blood vessels. It becomes a mess in the body. And this is the very basic source of all the chronic pain that we have. All the pain that, say, you just always have that back pain, or you always have that neck pain. That tissue is so tight and constricted that it's pulling, compressing, and pushing and constantly irritating your sensitive structures, your nerves, your bones, your joints. Your body is struggling against itself all the time when this happens. So what we do, we put that gentle pressure, wait for 5 minutes, don't roll or massage, just sustained pressure, and you wait. And as you wait, it's sort of like, imagine that you're filling that sponge with water back again. That tissue starts to open up and soften. So this is what the research told us, that exactly with that sustained pressure for 5 minutes or more, that tissue inside that became brittle and hard, like a dried out sponge, starts to actually absorb water. It starts to become more of a fluid, jello-like tissue, and it starts moving again. The pressure's taken off your nerves, the pressure's taken off your joints, all those sensitive structures in the body. And voila, you actually start feeling less pain. So this is the magic of myofascial release. So next time I'll talk to you about how we stretch, because we do stretch as well. Maybe let me give you just one example. If I wanted to stretch, let's go back here. I would not do that ever because it's just stretching the joint. But say, for example, and honestly, I don't see a point of stretching your biceps because it's very hard to kind of get to actually this tissue here. You probably need a therapist to kind of use the hands, or you need the ball. But say, for example, I'm stretching my wrist. So instead of pushing hard and like, oh, I'm just gonna like stretch as hard as I can. This is hurting your joints. It's damaging your joints. All those things that you do in the gym, they're actually damaging your joints, okay? So please remember that and never do it again. You just gently imagine like I'm taking another hand and I'm just like telescoping and breathing, and I barely can feel it for now, but I'm actually starting to feel a little warmth coming in. And say where I stay here for 5 minutes, and so I'm just going to like the first stretch. I'm not going anywhere near full extension, just giving it a little stretch and like pushing it out, imagining I'm telescoping. You can also do it this way when you're pulling out your hand out of your joint, just gently. I don't have a lot of force here. And so you're just pushing it and you're waiting for 5 minutes and you feel like that opening, the fascia starts to become, or the connective tissue becomes more hydrated. So that's all for today. Just ponder on that. And next time you go to the gym and they tell you to stretch, just like skip that part and then instead take 5 minutes and bring your ball and just put your ball on any place. You can put it under your hamstring. You can put it under your back. You can put it under your pecs here. Your belly is great. Your glutes, anywhere, and just wait for 5 minutes breathing and relaxing without forcing. Okay, so that's my call to action for you. And just wanted to drop in because I have something really awesome cooking up for you guys, and I'm going to drop the link and I'll talk more about it too. But if you're feeling like your life is sort of a struggle right now because you have no energy, or you feel kind of deflated and you have no focus, or you cannot lose weight, like you've been trying to exercise, you've been trying to eat right, you even started fasting or went on keto diet or whatnot, and you're really trying hard but that you don't see effects or results, I have a special conference coming up. It's called Hormones and Health Summit. It's launching on August 8th. And I'm inviting everybody for free to participate. We're going to have 21 interviews with doctors, integrative doctors, with exercise experts, with diet experts, like people who are absolutely top notch. I went out of my way to find people who are just, they bring groundbreaking stuff to you guys, and it's all that stuff that you will not hear from your doctor. And it's called Hormones and Health because hormonal balance is such a huge issue for so many women and men as well. So if you're a guy, don't be like, oh, it's just for girls, because we're going to talk about testosterone. We're going to talk about insulin resistance. We're going to talk about how to keep and maintain your proper weight and how to actually eat for health rather than dieting and exercising. So I'm going to drop the link and I will come back and talk more about it. If you have questions, let me know in the comments. And so remember, stretching is a waste of time and it's harmful for you. Number two, if you want to go further, if you want to actually get like a huge shift in your life come this summer, August 8th, Hormones and Health Summit. And it's going to be talking about how to increase your energy, improve your focus, and hit that ideal weight and all the other stuff that you will love. So sign up, it's free. And we talk more about it. We'll be talking tons about it. So excited for you guys. Have a beautiful Sunday and see you there. Bye.